Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here. We are out on the Hot Rod 350 Classic, the Zenfeld. Gonna set up camp. I'm out camping. I've got all my tent gear and all that stuff in this bag right here. I got that bag of Baxter Cycle, tent, sleeping mattress, sleeping bag, air pump, and in here I've got a chair. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all that stuff up, and then I'll show you, tell you what all I got. Everybody's been asking, so that's my whole setup in there. In here I've got a bag full of food, and over here I've got a bunch of clothing and jackets and things like that. Catch up with you in a bit. Wahoo! Sleeping mattress, air pump. Let's see what else I got here. That is the fly for my tent. Tent right there. Close nature 2-man tent. And then right here is my Mallow Me sleeping bag. So I've got tent with the fly, sleeping bag, air mattress that I've never used yet. We'll tell you all about that. And then my blower upper. Okay, let's get this stuff all together. That's the actual tent. Those are the poles and the pegs. All right, I've got a nice flat spot right here I'm going to use. There she is, all laid out. Over here are my tent stakes. They're kind of nifty. They're aluminum, pretty sturdy. I've used this tent, I think 7 times now. And then in this bag is my pole system. There's only one pole. Everything's tied together. This is the pole system all put together. It's got this center divider here, and that's really important because that makes the inside of the tent very wide when you get it together. And then something else to point out. This is a metal clip here. The older style of this tent had plastic. And the ends of these poles right here, right there, fit inside those clips. And then when you get the tent set up, you put the fly screen on, and that has these same kind of clips that will fit on the bottom end of these. I think it's a very sturdy system. Before I put the fly screen on, I wanted to show you some of the features, some of the reasons I bought this tent. The one-piece pole system is very important to me. The clips that hook to the bars, instead of running through some tents will have little piping that you run these things through. This has clips. The clips are very easy to get on and off. Just like that. The foot system, the fact that it's a freestanding tent that I can, if I don't have it staked down, I don't like it right here, I can move it a little bit, a little over here, a little over there, maybe even to a whole different spot. I like the fact that it has so much mesh so it can breathe very well. It has 2 doors, a door on each side. That was very important also. And it also has the pan design. And then after I put the fly screen on, I get these vestibules on the front and on the back that I can store a bunch of gear in. Also note the venting. There's little things here that hold these open so you can get good venting. The first time I set this tent up, it was in Car Engine, Nebraska, Alliance, Nebraska. And it actually, as soon as I got it set up, it started to pour rain, and I actually ended up in the tent for 8 or 10 hours. I had ridden about 500 miles that day, so I went in there and crashed. I had all my gear in there, my sleeping pad and everything, so it was a good deal for me. But the next day, the thing was dry and ready to go, and I packed it up and away I went. So this is my sleeping mat. It's called Sleep and Go, Sleeping Go, Sleeping O. I'm not sure what it's called. It's supposed to be about 2 inches thick when it's done. It was pretty highly rated by a lot of, very high rated actually. There were a couple haters on it that said it was too thin or too cold. I'm using it for summer camping. I'm motorcycle camping after all. So I don't think cold is going to be a problem, and also have a good sleeping bag. Okay, the pump end fit perfectly in there. Pump the whole thing up. I'm looking at it now thinking, boy, that looks really thin. I'll tell you what, I'm going to sleep on that tonight. This is the head end, foot end, and I will let you all know what I think of that in the morning. It seems pretty darn flimsy. I was watching backpacking videos to find this. So, sleeping go right there. All right, I'll get my sleeping bag out. Okay, there's what the bag looks like out of the pouch. It's a pretty thin bag. It's rated at 50 degrees comfort, and I can sleep in this comfortably in my skivvies at 50 degrees. It also has this hood right here, and I don't use that, or haven't yet. So what I do is I stuff that with a sweatshirt or something like that, and it has these drawstrings, and I use it as a pillow. Pretty good bag, really. Okay, here comes the tricky part. I got to get this stuff into that tent with all these bugs. I mean, without all these bugs. Wish me luck. Alrighty, I got her in there. It's got these little tie downs so you can open these vestibules up and wrap them up if you need to on both sides. Got my stuff right there. I'll put my shoes probably inside the tent. I left the shoes outside I think we were in South Dakota. And the next morning there was a big old spider in there, and my camping buddy Gary, my best friend in the world, Gary, wouldn't reach his hand in there and get that spider out for me. Can you believe that? Anyway, just kidding. All kidding aside. Pretty good rig, huh? These bars, this bar across the top really opens it up on the inside. So when you sit up, there's a lot of headroom in this tent. When you sit up in there, I mean, when you're laying there, we'll get some pictures of the inside. Good morning, y'all. Fuzzy Biker here. Oh, what a good night's sleep, huh? Warm enough all night. It's supposed to be in the 50s, but I was pretty warm all night. The sleeping bag does really well. And sleeping mat was a little thin, but it was adequate. Way better than the rubber mat I used last at South Dakota a week ago. Way better, but still a little thin. Especially, I broke all the bones in my right side here, my shoulder, and that got a little sore when I was laying on this side. But we'll give it another night or two, see if it gets better. The birds, boy, the birds were great. That's why I camped the birds. But about an hour ago, the birds started singing. I call it the birds' coffee hour. They get up and they make all kinds of racket, and they sing, and they, talk about their day before. And then about now, 5:30, they get up and go to work. And the singing kind of ceases. But I told you to show you the inside of the tent. See how wide it is through here on the top? My old tent was more of a slope through here, and the reason that's so wide is there's a bar that goes across like that, and of course you can see how the fly cover covers and does so well. Pardon the mess in here. So look how much room I got in here. Now this is a 2-man tent, just loads of room. Look at all the netting, and got a door on each side. Hey, excuse me. Life is good. Life is good. Catch up in a bit. Wahoo. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown on the camping gear. Check out the motorcycle here, all just covered in dew. Anyway. So the tent itself worked great. I've had that tent now I've used it, I don't know, 7-8 times. Absolutely beautiful tent. Loads of room inside. Keeps the rain out. I have been caught in the rain in it. Absolutely no trouble at all. The sleeping bag that I have, I love that sleeping bag. It got down to 52 or so last night. No troubles there at all. It was very warm. It was in my skivvies. No issues at all. And that's all wet right now, so I'm not going to try to open it. The sleeping mat, on the other hand, when I got it out and showed it to y'all, I said it was narrow and thin. The narrow part, narrow meaning my shoulder width, that actually was not a problem. I thought that would be a big problem. It was not a problem at all. I slept on it just fine all night long. The thickness, it's only 2 inches thick at the thickest points. That was a little bit of an issue. I might be able to get used to that, but we'll have to see how that goes. I'm going to use it a couple more nights here. And I've got a couple more, I think I've got at least one more night of camping planned, so we'll see where that goes. Now, I'm going to clean up the helmet a little bit here. Here's my camping setup here. I got my jacket out over yonder. It got a little wet. There's my breakfast in that bag over there. I've got hey, check it out. Have never seen that before. I'm going to give that a try. See how that works out for us. And a little bit I've got like cereal and something like that in that bag. But wonderful day motorcycle camping. I'm going to run over the hill here in a little bit after it warms up and take a hike, and then later today I'll try to get over to Moto-camping Cave and see what I can learn there. Hey, life is short. Get out and ride, get out and camp, get out and live life. Wahoo! Yippee-yi-yay! Yippee-yi-yo! Down the road we go! Beautiful, beautiful machine. Turn the radio on. 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 Turn the radio on.